day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Awakening Voices for Action, an initiative of mobilization towards leadership for women and youth development initiative. Today, we'll be discussing about the Electoral Act. With me here in the studio is
Mr. Bishop Timothy Uledua.
You're welcome, sir.
You're most welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So today we'll be talking about the Electoral Act. We'll be having an overview and we would be having insights from Mr. Dishon. So on our questions today, we want to understand for a layman's understanding. Describe the Electoral Act for us.
Thank you. Talking about the Electoral Act, there is one basic thing that the moment the issue of an Electoral Act is mentioned should come to a Nigerian and particularly an electorate mind. That is to say, an Electoral Act in a layman form is nothing other than a bank of rules regulating the electoral processes. That is in a nutshell. That it encompasses all the activities relating to electioneering in a setup, taking in cognizance the pre-activities before an election, activities of the election day, and activities of the post-election period. That is all about Electoral Act.
Okay, so in this entire Electoral Act, what are the points of relevance for the average Nigerian? Where does it count?
Yeah. For the average Nigerian, what is so paramount and important in the Electoral Act, first and foremost, is the responsibility of the electoral body. The Electoral Act is a birth of the Nigerian Constitution, particularly like in section 153 of the Act, where it gives power to the electoral body, or rather it set up the electoral body. And since electoral body is an institution saddled with the responsibility of conducting election, which is primary, then there are some additional issues to it, which means like conducting voter education, civic education, conducting an enlightenment to the citizens, and at the same time conducting a referendum where it so avails itself. Now, this is the combination of what the commission, the Electoral Commission, is all about. So that's why we said the Electoral Act is a bank of the rules regulating the activities of the Independent National Electoral Commission. So with this, we will now look at these functions that the Electoral Act seek to address.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir, for that. With the way we hear about some devout Nigerians calling for a review of the Electoral Act, people like Radi Peters, Mama P, and all, we know that aside from these people, quite a number of people do not have an idea on the Electoral Act. So for them to call on the review of the Electoral Act, there must be loopholes that they have observed. So what are these loopholes in the Electoral Act in your own perspective?
To start with, I think calling for a review, to me personally, that's my personal opinion, is just by the way. But what is important or needed at this point in time is a total overhaul of the Electoral Act. because there are a lot of loopholes in that. Like for instance now, the Electoral Act says for somebody to stand in for an election, there had to be an internal democracy which is being conducted by the party. Now, the party would not want a direct primaries because of their hidden agenda. Meaning to say, they are not taking the citizens, the electorates who will be represented to now air their views, to now exercise their right in the choice of their leader, which is not supposed to be. When we talk of democracy, we are talking about the people. That is meant for the people. That is for the people. So if it is for the people, then certainly you should allow the people to decide who should lead them.
Right.
But where the party will not take side and say, no, we don't want that. We'll only pick a pocket hand to come and do it. And these pocket hands are people whom they know they have to control in order to come and do the selection. So, like if you look at it sometimes back, in order to run away from this kind of situation, that was why the commission introduced the option A4, where whoever wants to contest should be able to canvass for his votes. He should be able to face everybody so that people will come physically and line behind whoever they want. So in that case, there is no cutting of corners. It is who they want, that is the person they will go for.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So now, how best should these errors be managed? If we don't have the overhaul of the Electoral Act, as you first suggested, and there's the local government election coming up next year in Jos, and then in Plateau State, and then that of the federal elections will be around the corner, 2027, because already campaigns, mediation, collaborations, and all that are going on. So how best should these loopholes be managed?
Yeah, if you look at it, going backward a bit little, you'll discover that from inception, from 1999 till date, where it is almost about 26 years of democracy in this country, there have been series of reformations on the Electoral Act. But up to now, particularly the 2023 election that we had, people were not satisfied with the outcome. So the issue here is that first and foremost, Nigerians must have a change of mindset. That is the first thing. Nigerians generally must have a change of mindset. It is when we have that change of mindset, then we will be able to now pursue objectivity in all our policies. Most instances, if you look at even the Nigerian constitution, you discover that there are a lot of lacunas in it, which is still applicable even to the Electoral Acts. Now, if you look at what the judiciary is doing, they don't now stand on real facts as to when there is a case challenging an election, but rather they go on technicalities. So whenever we come to promulgate a law, we always create those kind of lacunas so that it will give a room for manipulations. Outside that, if we could sincerely come out to look at situations in their natural being and then focus on things that we need do in order to put things in their right perspective, certainly we will get it right. So that is why I'm insisting the mindset of Nigerians must be changed. It must be changed. Now, beside that, now by the time our mindset is changed, whoever that we have that are being saddled with the responsibility of now enacting a law that will govern the electioneering in this country, then at least there will be objectivity. That objectivity is what will take us through. So what do I mean here? Conducting an election, it needs transparency. We always sing it. Transparency, free and fair, credible. How do you attend those? It has to be on the laws. Now, for instance, we have number of penalties for wrongdoings. But come to think of it, have you ever heard of somebody that has been prosecuted simply because he had done the wrong thing? No. Even in the Electoral Act itself, there are instances where the laws give backing to when in the process of conducting the election, the laws are not being observed. So if the law itself back off an irregularity, then what do we expect from that? It's a shambles.
A real big shambles.
It's a shambles. So what we are saying in effect, for us to go forward from where we are, we need to have that sincerity of purpose. Sincerity of purpose. And that begins with everybody. So the problem in this country is not about just maybe the legislators who legislate our laws or the electoral body that conduct the election. No. I would want you to understand that it is an encompassing of all. It encompasses all of us.
So including those who participate in voter
In fact, the major is with the electorates. Now come to think of it this way. The commission, INEC, is saddled, of course, with the responsibility of conducting the election. But who actually conducts the election?
The electorates.
It's the electorates. Our youths. The commission recruits the citizens.
Of course.
You understand? With different background, given several conditions. And it is these same Nigerians that go out there to perpetrate the evil in that election area. It's not the INEC. The laws are there. Don't do this. This is how it happens. This is how it goes. But because these same citizens that are employed as ad hoc staff representing the commission now are the ones that rub minds with the politicians to go and perpetrate all kind of evil.
That's quite unfortunate.
Come to think of it again. Who snatched the boxes?
The same electorates.
It's not the legislators. Even though, to a certain extent,
they might encourage it,
they
but
might
they
be
are
the
not
ones.
there to perpetrate the act.
They are the ones facilitating it. But what I am saying in effect is that if we have that sense of reasoning as Nigerians, that we are tired of what we are having, we want to get it right, then it means that we need to be objective in all that we do.
Thank you very much, sir. We are really empowered now with clarity and knowledge on what the Electoral Act encompasses, and it further enlightens us on what we should do as citizens, as electorates, to ensure we conduct a free and fair election. We want to use this medium as MOLDEV to encourage each and every one viewing that we play our own quota. Let's raise the moral value on voter etiquette to ensure that we conduct a free and fair election. Thank you for viewing. Until next time, this is from MOLDEV and Bye.